Hey everybody, welcome to Garden Time with Belle. Well, after a long cold winter, are you craving bold, beautiful color in your garden? What if you could grow stunning azaleas even if you have alkaline soil, just like I do? Well, today I'm going to invite you to come along with me as we push the limits on what's possible. I have yet to meet another gardener who hasn't engaged in some impulse buying, and that's exactly what happened to me yesterday. I took my mom and I up to our local Lowe's big box store, and I was after some hostas. They didn't have hardly anything to choose from. It's pretty early in the season where I live. I was also after some ceramic saucers to match some of the pots that I have on my back deck. They didn't have those either, so when I looked to the right, 2 or 3 tables away from where I was shopping, I saw this magnificent table filled with this gorgeous color of azaleas. And listen, I couldn't pass it up. I mean, who can pass this up? We are craving color this time of year, right? We just came out of winter and this was just glowing at the nursery. So yeah, pick that up. Couple of reasons why I chose this. I chose this, of course, because of this amazing color. It is listed as a red azalea, but really and truly, it's more in person. It's really more pinky red, which I love. It lends on the cooler side of red, which I prefer. The other reason why I picked it is it's a proven winner plant. And you guys know Proven Winners is one of my favorite plant companies. I have so many of their plants, from perennials, shrubs, and annuals. I have fantastic success with their tried and true plants. So if you've not heard of Proven Winners yet, you need to check it out. I will put a link to their website in the description below. But you know, they're known for their marketing. They really know how to market their plants, and you're gonna look for the white containers, the white cans. Yeah, Proven Winners. So if you see those in any of your nurseries, you need to stop and take a close look at them. Okay, so I picked it because of the color, but I also picked it because I've always wanted to grow azaleas, but this type, and I'll give you all the specs in just a minute, this Perfecto Mondo azalea that they have bred and developed is a repeating blooming azalea. Traditional azaleas only bloom in the spring, which of course it's early spring here and it's in full flower. But this particular line of azaleas from Proven Winners blooms repeatedly. It'll bloom now, these flowers will fade, we'll get another flush and one more towards the fall. So spring, summer, and fall, I mean, why not? It's gonna sit right here. We're gonna pot this up and I'm gonna explain to you all the specs, but also how I am going to push the limits, because azaleas don't grow great in my little microclimate here because we have alkaline soil and they love acid. And I'll show you how I'm gonna push the limit and give them some acid in a container and make it more likely that they're gonna do great in my garden. So before I share with you the specs on this beautiful plant and how I'm going to modify the environment so it will hopefully thrive here in my mid-Missouri garden, I'm going to invite everybody out there to please like and subscribe to my channel. Liking, subscribing, commenting can really help me grow my channel and reach more wonderful gardeners just like you. All right, first thing we need to talk about is the zone, the hardiness zone for growing this Perfecto Mondo azalea. And for those of you that are newer gardeners, you might be a little confused by that. When you are purchasing a shrub or a perennial, something that's going to come back year after year, you need to take a look at the plant tag and you want to look at what they call the hardiness zone. The Perfecto Mondo azaleas are hardy in zone 6B through 9. I'm a 6B here in mid-Missouri, so I'm right on the edge. I really consider myself an A or B. It doesn't really matter. I'm a zone 6. So what the zones are really talking about for those of you that might be new to understanding the zones. The lower the number, the colder your winters are. The higher the number, the warmer your winters are. Azaleas don't do well in freezing cold, below 0 temperatures ever. They don't come back the next year when it's terribly, terribly cold where you live. But my way of pushing the limits is I'm going to be potting up this gorgeous azalea potting it up in a pot, in this beautiful blue ceramic pot. And in doing that, the way that I'm going to assure that it's going to come back and survive my winters is because it's in a container. I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it in my greenhouse over winter. So this fall, when we start really getting into cooler months, cooler evenings in particular, I will just take my whole pot and I'm going to overwinter it in the greenhouse. Now, not everyone has a greenhouse, very few. I'm very fortunate to have a greenhouse. If you don't have a greenhouse, no worries. If you have a garage that doesn't get terribly, terribly cold, if it doesn't get below freezing, you can store something like this and let it go dormant and keep it in your garage. If you have an unheated room in your house or in your basement, would be perfectly fine to overwinter it there in a container. The thing that you want to make sure you do when you're trying to overwinter things in any of those kinds of locations, you do need to occasionally water it, not very much at all, but you don't want the roots completely dry out because that will kill your plant. So that's my workaround to push the limits of the zone, because even though I'm a zone 6 and it's hardy supposedly down to a zone 6, because it's in a container, if I left it out here all winter long, it is going to really get super duper cold. I went on the Proven Winners website to do a little research for today's video, and they did recommend if you put these azaleas in a container and you live kind of where I do, where it does get pretty cold in the winter, you can protect it by wrapping the whole plant and especially the container like in several layers of burlap, and then putting it in a protected spot outside in your garden, in your yard. And so that might be like a corner of your house that doesn't get those cold winter winds, get it snugged up really close to your house. But I'm not going to take that chance. I'm going to want it to come back next year, so it's going in my greenhouse. So let's talk about soil. Soil health, especially for azaleas, that is sort of a special case. They love acidic soil. In my garden, if I were to plant this out in the landscape, my native soil around my property is much more alkaline. How do I know that? Because I do regular soil tests about every 3 years. And I just have, lived on this property long enough to know that my soil tends to be a higher pH. They like a nice low pH or acid. They're acid loving. So my workaround to address that is trying to grow this in a pot. What I can do when I grow anything in a container, I can control the type of soil it has. And so I'm going to be using a fresh potting mix, and potting mixes generally are sort of neutral. Neutral on the scale of acid and alkaline in terms of soil, neutral is about a 7. So right there in the middle. So I'm going to do that, but here is my secret sauce. I'm going to be adding, when I plant this up in my pot, soil acidifier. This will raise the, reduce the pH or raise the amount of acid in the soil. And since they love acid, great. Also, I cannot grow blue hydrangeas, the macrophylla hydrangeas that can be pink or blue. It is dependent on the pH of your soil. And if I tried to grow blue hydrangeas out in the landscape, and I've tried it, they turn pink, because I have a higher pH soil. But if I added enough of this over time to the soil and amended it and got it to become more acid, I'd get blue. So anyhow, so that's my workaround for soil. Let's talk about sun requirements. This azalea requires 4 to 6+ hours of sun. It can actually take full sun, but it can also take part sun. Just so happens I am on my back porch, which faces east, and I've lived here long enough that I pay attention to the sun patterns and the sunlight, and this area of our back deck gets around 5 hours of sun a day, so I think it will like that amount of sun. However, the beauty of growing certain things in containers is if I'm monitoring this beautiful azalea and it doesn't seem like it's thriving, and maybe it could be a sunlight issue, I can always choose to change the location of that container. All right, the last 2 things I want to talk about, and then we're going to finally get this in the pot. I want to talk about pruning azaleas and fertilizing. And this particular type of reblooming azalea requires some, I would say, deadheading, not pruning. So This is its first flush of the season. Here we are in spring. When most of these beautiful flowers sort of fade away, I'm just going to deadhead them. I'm not going to come down here and use my nippers and my pruners and cut off any of the stem. I'm just going to remove the spent flowers. That's what's recommended. And then I need to fertilize. So I'm not going to fertilize it yet because it's been fertilized in the nursery right before I picked it up for sales. So it's gotten plenty of fertilizer to get all these gorgeous blooms. But once the blooms fade and I deadhead them, I take off the old blooms, I am going to not give it this. I'm going to give it a rose fertilizer. Who knew? Azaleas do really great with rose fertilizer. I also use rose fertilizer on all of my panicle hydrangeas. They also love this. So it'll die back. I'll remove the blooms. I'll give it some rose tone fertilizer, and then it'll flush out again. And then probably early July, I will remove the spent blooms again, give it one more dose of fertilizer for the year. You do not want to fertilize most things, and in particular azaleas, after August. Why? Because you don't want to encourage new growth and new bud development in August, because you want it to eventually wind down naturally and go dormant for the winter. So you don't want it trying in September to push out a whole bunch of new growth. So that is how I'm going to take care of this. So that repeat blooming will continue to occur. And I hope that didn't seem like too much information, but I'm sharing it with you because I'm sort of also sharing it with myself. So because I don't grow azaleas, so I'm trying to learn along with you all the things that I'm going to be trying to do to, keep this gorgeous Perfecto Mondo azalea beautiful and healthy, not only this summer, but in summers to come. So it is time to get this potted up. Oh, I didn't give you the specs on, where is it? On its growth. Let me take a look at, if it was growing in the landscape, how big would it really get? It says the size, it'll get 2.5 feet tall and 3 to 4 feet wide. Probably will not get that big in this container, although this is the only thing that's going in this container, and that's a lot of nice soil. So 2.5 foot tall, is that what it said? And right now I would say, get out my little trusty, it's not even quite a foot tall in this. So, 2.5 feet, truly, if it got that tall, whoa, let me see where my 2.5 foot is. Okay. So, you guys, where my hand is here, that's 2.5 feet. I don't think it's going to get that tall, maybe 2 foot. Wouldn't that be beautiful though, if it got about this tall and 3 to 4 feet wide? So I'm going to pull this out because really, if it gets as wide as it's supposed to, it could fill up this whole corner, which was the whole idea in the first place. So I'm going to move this out just to be safe. And we're going to get this beauty planted up. So this is a bit of a tight squeeze, but I think I can do it. First things first. So I have this beautiful blue ceramic container, and I probably should wipe it down to make it more beautiful, but I am going to put this mesh screen down on the bottom because it has a nice big hole. And again, the specs on these azaleas say they need well-draining soil, and that nice big hole will help, but also that little mesh screen that I put in there will keep most of the soil from spilling out onto our deck. So I'm just gonna put some in the bottom, and I sort of need to do a test because this is quite a large pot and I don't want to plant it too high or too low. So let me take a peek here. That might be just about right. Move it out of the way. And of course, I'm going to probably make a mess, but you guys are used to that if you see my videos, because that pot, I've got to fill in around the edges a little bit. So I'm just going to see if I can. This potting mix is a little bit damp to begin with. I don't think it's going to hold up the sides of the container, but I don't know, maybe so. Let me try that first, and then we'll get it out of its nursery container and into the pot. Okay, so you saw me pull it out of its container. I just was trying to gauge if I had enough soil in the bottom, and I do. So now, before I plant it fully, remember I've got to acidify the soil, and I'm going to be using this Espoma product, this soil acidifier. I have no idea how much I should use. Let's look here. For new plants, use 1.5 cups. For established plants, use 2.5 cups. All right, so I'm going to just eyeball it. How about that? I think it needs a bit more. Okay. That should just about do it. Okay. The other thing I noticed, let me see if I can show you on camera, if I have it. Really nice, healthy root system. There aren't roots spinning round and round, or what do they call that? It's not pot bound or root bound in the pot, which is great to see. I don't know that that really necessarily has a front to it, but I kind of feel like, since it's going to live in this corner, I would like to position it as best I can. I mean, it's just pretty all around, right? Let me step back and take a look. I think I need to shift it a little bit towards me. Okay, so this is the part where everything is going to get really dirty, because, I don't know if you can see, but I've got to get soil in and around. So I'll have to pull the foliage back and these beautiful blooms and tuck in plenty of soil. So that's my next step. Then, of course, with everything, I'll have to water it in. See, stand back. I think that's great, and it's going to flush out. And so the next thing I need to do is sweep off the dirt that I dropped, and then I'll water it in, and that'll be that. Well, planting this Perfecto Mondo, a repeat blooming azalea, sure satisfied my need for some flower power early in spring in my mid-Missouri garden. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I think it's going to do great here, but you know, I'll be bringing you along, and we'll be doing monthly garden tours or walkabouts, and I will for sure let you know, does this azalea do okay in my area of the country? I sure hope so. I think I've tried to think about all of its needs and how I can modify things so that it can be a gorgeous shrub. So the last thing I have left to do is just to give it a drink, and I think that's about it. So anyhow, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I am going to enjoy this from inside the house, which our little kitchen area is right here, our kitchen table. I can enjoy it out here on the deck, and then back behind the camera that you can't see is our covered screened-in porch with lots of lounge couches and chairs. And so me and my guests and my family can be sitting out there and looking over here and going, wow, wow, wow. So anyhow, until next time, I wish everybody out there happy gardening.